I think this is kind of the beginning of what we can do with AI and like with the manuals and all that. I mean, all of us here have been in the field and we've all had to try to figure out when something's broken, and you got to go download and find. And if I can go and ask some questions and it's intelligent and can start guiding me down that path, I would much prefer that versus sitting and looking at a 100-page manual, trying to find out where is that first thing that I'm going to run into.
What is this reading the manual thing you're talking about?
Well, there's an acronym I won't use on this, Tim, that many of us may have heard of, but it's to that point.
So are you saying that as somebody trying to troubleshoot a system, I should read said manual?
As a manufacturer, we might recommend that.
Transmit another copy of Starfleet's ship recognition protocols and tell them to read it this time.
Airport AV systems getting hacked, immersive audio standards, and Yealink connects with NDI. All that and more next on AV Week. This is AV Week, episode 740, recorded Friday, October 24th, 2025. Read the freaking manual. This is AV Week, your weekly wrap-up of the biggest news and stories in the AV and the IT world. We have emergency patches, new integration players, and immersive audio standards. Let's get into it. Our top story, a recent wave of cyber attacks saw hackers gain unauthorized access to the public address or PA systems and display systems at several airports in the United States and Canada. According to a Reuters report, the breach affected an airport in Pennsylvania, along with 3 in Canada, where messages were broadcast over loudspeakers and the flight information screens. The hackers displayed pro-Palestinian and anti-Israel messages, as well as relayed audio messages of the same. This highlights a critical risk. Unsecured or poorly segmented AV systems can become attack vectors for organizations with digital signage, PA systems, or integrated AV and IT deployments. Think airports, campuses, enterprise facilities, house of worship. This lesson is actually quite clear. Ensure AV networks are segmented from critical operational networks, enforce strong authentication, and maintain firmware and patch discipline. Speaking of critical updates and security, Microsoft has confirmed a critical quote-unquote emergency update affecting Windows 11 and many systems formerly on Windows 10, after a flaw caused severe system disruptions, including disabled recovery tools and broken USB keyboard mouse functionality. This is particularly relevant because many control systems, AV workstations, ticketing kiosks, digital signage controllers, and integrated systems run Windows or Windows-based control software. If a major OS-level update fails or causes issues, downtime can ripple throughout AV operations. Now, Microsoft recently ended free support for Windows 10, pushing many organizations to migrate. Unfortunately, also many organizations not to migrate. That's a whole different conversation. That makes this emergency update all the more salient. Organizations still relying on older OS versions may now face both the risk of unsupported systems and the risk of unstable updates. Yealink has announced that it has joined the NDI ecosystem, and its Smart Vision 80 Premium Intelligent PTZ camera is now NDI certified. This is an important nod to the ongoing shift towards IP video workflows. NDI, or Network Device Interface, is a technology that enables camera, video, audio, and control sources to share over IP networks in a plug-and-play fashion. With Yealink entering the ecosystem, more quote-unquote meeting room or huddle space gear will be usable over the same network infrastructure that it already manages. IT solutions and managed services firm Zones has announced its formal entry into the professional AV arena, signaling a fresh wave of IT-centric players moving into AV. This is significant from an end-user perspective. As AV and IT come together, organizations are increasingly looking for vendors who speak both languages. A company rooted in IT solutions brings strong credentials in network infrastructure, cybersecurity, and lifecycle management, all of which AV integrators sometimes kind of lack. For IT decision makers and AV decision makers, recognizing that AV is now just another network-centric workload is key. Now the global Pro AV market is projected to grow substantially. Estimates suggest the market will hit roughly anywhere between 10 and 20 billion by 2033, up from 4.7 billion this year. This growth means AV budgets will increasingly intersect with IT budgets, and companies like Zones are positioning themselves accordingly. Finally, the upcoming EdTech Congress Barcelona 2026, now in its 12th edition, will be co-hosted by ISE and Fira de Barcelona on February 4th through the 5th as part of a broader AV education technology convergence. This signals the importance of AV solutions in delivering future-ready educational experiences. The event's agenda emphasizes AI and immersive learning environments, meaning AV, IT, and teaching tech will all intersect. That's your AV news. Stick around for this week's roundtable, where we will discuss immersive audio and AI in troubleshooting. This is AV Week.
Hey listeners, it's your AV sneakerhead, Jennifer Weaver. Listen to AV Career Masterminds, where I chat all things job-related in the audio-visual industry. You can find AV Career Masterminds where you subscribe to podcasts.
All right, welcome back. Now we bring in our fantastic roundtable with us to discuss a couple more stories that we have gathered. First and foremost, Willie Franklin. How are you, sir?
Hey, Tim, I'm doing well. It's always great to be here and chat with you.
Good to see you. And also my brother from another mother, Mr. Joel Carroll. Welcome, sir.
Hey, good seeing you, Tim. And I'm just excited Willie's here. So we have somebody good to talk to today, Tim, other than just you. It's good. It's great.
Well, I appreciate that.
Joel, I got man love for you. I got real man love for you.
So here's the other side of this. I was in Chicago this week at the very first ever AV user group in Chicago, and I got to see the let's say the better Carol. I'm not even going to say the other Carol, because I'm not going to be unbiased in this. The better Carol, because Erica Carroll was headlining and spearheading the AV user group here in North America now, and got to hang out with her in Chicago. So
yeah, we all know that's true. Anybody that's listening to this would agree, Tim. That's okay.
100%.
That's okay. I'm okay being number two.
Carol squared is always good.
Yeah, be careful how you the two of them together are fine, but twice as much Joel? No. I'm good. Thank you. First story, AV Network. The Sphere in Las Vegas has become a benchmark for what immersive audio visuals can look like when you marry cutting-edge AV hardware with networked infrastructure. Now, you've got a 16 by 16 LED wraparound and this, that, and the other. But here's the thing. It is not just for that venue. They are starting to use that for other venues, including Radio City Music Hall. Now, what I want to talk about and what I want to look at here is what all of these different environments are going to start using when it comes to immersive standards. And we'll use and leverage the Sphere as that standard. There's a couple things going on here. Number one, the company that owns the Sphere, they either own outright or have a majority stake in the technology that made the Sphere possible. That means the LED technology as well as the audio technology. Willie, I'm going to start with you on this. When you look at it from an end user standpoint, what can we take away from that immersive standard? What can we take away from the not just the technology, but also kind of some of the business decisions that the Sphere folks made in bringing that type of technology outside of that Sphere, that one building, and deploying it in other areas?
I pondered that for quite some time after reading the article. Radio City Music Hall is not a bad venue to showcase that level of technology, but I actually start to think about theme parks. For me, that would be the ideal location. Movie theaters are already doing their own thing with surround sound, but theme parks, you have the visual element to be enhanced by the video screens if you were to implement the LCD environment there, or LED environment rather. Most importantly, the enhancement to the senses, to hear the audio bring something new to that ride. Whether you're going through Epcot Center, whether you're going through Little Whirl, It's a small world. Yes, that song that embeds in your head forever.
Hey, I don't want It's a Small World in surround. I don't. It's already stuck in my head now.
But you do. It's going to make new connections in your brain that you never fathom. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Theme parks. I also thought, in a gaming environment, is there a possibility of scaling to that level? And I'm not talking just a home environment, certainly not.
Yeah.
I'm talking about competition level. When I think about e-sport competitions in our academic environments, they are robust. They are just downright impressive. Scale that up. Now put it in a stadium-like environment where you've got 80, 100,000 gaming fans that are taking that whole environment in. It's wrapped around them. They're hearing it. They're seeing it. They're feeling it. They're totally immersed in it. So that type of venue, I can see the technology that we've gotten used to seeing, feeling, and almost smelling in the Sphere, migrating to spaces like theme parks and certainly a gaming arena.
I would add to that even like museums. Like I've been to so many of these immersive theaters in the museums. The one that comes to mind right away is I think it's the World War II Museum in Louisiana, and it's pretty cool when you go and you sit, and it's immersive as best it can. But the audio definitely could use a bit of an uplift, if you will, right? And the idea behind that is, to me, it's all about a destination. I mean, everything Willie's talking about is destination oriented. So if in the middle of nowhere you could possibly build this Sphere concept, people are going to come to it because it is a destination. I did have the fortune to go to the first concert the first day in Vegas with U2, and I accidentally fell in the second day of the show as well. And my experiences were very different. I was on the floor day one with Joe Way, so that was kind of fun. That was accidental, but he was there. And then the second day, we were up in the, I want to say, 200 level. And it was a totally different experience because there you could hear the sound wrap around you and envelop you to an extent I couldn't even imagine. So I see there's a lot more coming with this. One of the things I really like about the technology is I love going to live music events, and I like loud, but I also like to be able to hear tomorrow. And going into that environment, and it's loud, but it's loud and crisp and comfortable. I don't walk out feeling beat up. And I think that beyond the places we're thinking, we may see this come into more places because of the way they're able to do the focusing of the audio. Or like, I think the best demo I saw is like when you go on the, the Sphere, the world thing you can go to any night, going to that and listening to how well they could focus that audio, where I could stand in one place and hear one instrument, or language 1, language 2, language 3, literally one step over. What if they're able to start doing things like that in, Congress or, the UN or anything along those lines, where they can focus it and it's not just in your ear? I think there's a lot of other things beyond just entertainment we may be able to see us get pulled into at some point in the future.
Wow. Joel, that's beautiful. The museum environment, particularly just thinking about war, thinking about conflict, I can't imagine that sensory impact of hearing and seeing planes fly overhead. That literally, that sound just kind of envelops you, right? And now you've got shells passing over your head, detonations off center, left, right, rear. Just absolutely incredible. One other point that I wanted to follow up on, as you mentioned, I'm a big NASCAR fan, and I love live venues, but I'll be honest, there are times that I've left and my ears are ringing. Over the years, I made it a practice to start carrying little earbuds that I would drop in just to drop that audio level down a little bit for me. I was surprised how well I could still hear the clarity of everything that was presented. So I find myself wondering, in that immersive environment where the sound intensity, that SPL is so intense, do you lose anything if you were to dampen it with some type of device, be it a set of headphones, over-the-ear headphones, earbuds, but still have the brilliance of that engineering right there to experience? So I guess
It's an interesting point. I mean, and again, I'm not an expert in the Sphere. I've only been to the 2 live shows that were there, but I didn't feel like I needed earbuds. Like the volume was reasonable within that space, and I don't know what they set it at, but no matter what location I was in, it didn't feel like it was a requirement, because usually I go to a venue and Erica travels with things like that as well. Like, I'm old. I was like, honey, I'm not going to do that, right? I'm too cool to put earbuds in. She's got hers in. But in that environment, I don't think it would be necessary. Other people may feel different. It just didn't feel that way to me, just based on what you were hearing in the space. So it's hard to say. I mean, maybe it's going to change with different venues, but I thought that brought a lot of value, where you could be fully immersed in there.
Wow.
And not walk out and ears ringing for days on end.
Okay. So, question for you, Joel. When you saw Joe Way there, did you look him in the eye and say, Octoon baby?
I had to get on a ladder to do that, Willie, but I did. He's got a couple feet of height on me.
He's the same height as I am. I have a really quick question, because somebody mentioned this in the physical, the geometry of the space of the sphere, right? And they're starting to license. There have been stories out about mini spheres popping up. There's one that they're building in the Middle East, either in Saudi Arabia or Dubai. I can't remember which one off the top of my head. Does it have to be that geometry, right? You guys mentioned the UN as a possibility, especially when it comes to translation. What from the sphere can we pull? What technology and place in other areas, place in other venues, without it being a quote-unquote sphere?
Well, Radio City Music Hall is in a sphere, right? And
yes.
You know what I mean? But it's like, to me, maybe the video, to be immersive in the video the way it is, that it's almost a requirement to have something like that to take up all your peripheral vision. But with what they're doing with the technology and the audio and the number of drivers they have in each one of these speakers, if you will, that alone is what's giving them a lot of the benefit in some of these other locations, Radio City Music Hall, whatever it might be. So I don't know. I think this is a way to get around some of the problems we've always had in audio video world of the geometry of the spaces we go in usually works against us. Acoustically, more so than even visually, right? Everything's built so we can see. But from an acoustical standpoint, everything's full of the echo and what if they're able to start doing that math to alleviate that in some of these non-audio friendly spaces that we all go and watch shows and other events at?
All right. Second story is technically it's from a whole bunch of different places. AVNation is one of them. NetSpeek has launched its Lena platform. Now, I have talked about NetSpeek for almost a year now, and they soft launched. They announced themselves to the world about a year ago. First show that they showed at was ISE. Really got some traction there. Really got some traction at Infocom. Now the actual platform, the Lena platform, which is the AI platform, has been released to the world, as it were. And of course is a language-enabled assistant built specifically for Pro AV and unified communication spaces. Here's the idea, if you've never heard me or anybody else talk about it. You've got AV and UC gear in a space. These are cameras, network controllers, the whole bit, right? Conferencing systems. And Lena is kind of looking to help those IT and AV teams that manage and support them, be it cloud, AI, natural language, and then using the best practices and the manuals from various vendors, okay? For IT and AV users, this is a bit of a shift. Instead of treating AV as a separate silo, this becomes part of a managed collaborative infrastructure. It means that if you have questions of monitoring or service level or remote support, analytics, if you walk into a space and your TV is not working, you can interface with this Lena and say, Lena, why is my TV not working in room 123? And this system will have all of your drawings, all of the manuals from all of the different devices. Give you, first and possibly second level troubleshooting steps. This is one of the first practical applications for AI that I have seen in the AV space. Not a commercial, I know the folks at NetSpeek, but not a commercial in any way, shape, or form. It is something that's going to be interesting, and they are not the only ones that out there right now that are doing this. There's a couple others, including X10, that are leveraging different types of AI platforms. Joel, when you take a look at this and you look at what this could mean when it comes to using AI in something more than just the design of a space, but this is more leveraging it when it comes to the support of a space. Where do you see not just Lena, but the rest of AI coming along and helping those AV users supporting their spaces and supporting their customers?
You said it earlier, Tim, that this is one of the best uses you've seen of AI so far in the AV space, and I would tend to agree. From the support standpoint, I actually had a call earlier today. It was quite interesting, and it was an IT guy of an organization and an AV guy at the organization, and we were all kind of joking around, and the first thing the IT guy goes, I hate AV. And I'm like, that hurts. And he goes, no, look, I love AV when it works, right? And then it's gotten more complex over the years. And by merging this all together, I think this starts to become where that true convergence of AV and IT really come to fruition. We've already put our devices on the network, but now how can we truly capitalize on that? And we really haven't. We've sent control signals over. We can turn devices on and off. We can support them remotely, but supporting them remotely means we have to know there's a problem in the first place to go and do support. So something like this is almost like that co-pilot to ensure uptime. When something happens, you're going to be alerted to it. And maybe the AI gets intelligent enough to go, oh, you know what? This could be a problem with the display, and the right people are alerted. Or maybe they know that the DSP is hearing something it shouldn't, and it gets so intelligent that it can make some adjustments there even, to the DSP. So I think this is kind of the beginning of what we can do with AI, and like with the manuals and all that. I mean, all of us here have been in the field, and we've all had to try to figure out when something's broken, and you got to go download and find. And if I can go and ask some questions and it's intelligent and can start guiding me down that path, I would much prefer that versus sitting and looking at a 100-page manual, trying to find out where is that first thing that I'm going to run into. So I think this is just the first step of all of us as manufacturers really starting to work together as a complete system, regardless of what manufacturer is what.
Willie, watch this. Joel, what is this reading the manual thing you're talking about?
Well, there is an acronym I won't use on this, Tim, that many of us may have heard of, but it's to that point, right? It's really to that point.
So are you saying that as somebody trying to troubleshoot a system, I should read said manual?
As a manufacturer, we might recommend that. However, I know in installation practices or support practices, that's not always what happens. I've been there. I get that. But if I don't have to, and I can go ask a question of this intelligent device sitting in front of me, and it gives me info.
You just described, hang on. You just described what it's like to be a tech manager in higher education, because if I can just call a number, Joel's, and say, Joel, my thing is not working, help me.
Well, you don't need that. And honestly, I've built a lot of my career around that, Tim. I've heard from a lot of people, but I might be on a cruise one day, right? And this will help, and I think from the manufacturers, you bring up a good point. This helps amplify their ability to support the customer base quicker. Like Willie's got an issue. Willie can go in and type it in, knowing that maybe we provided the data to this engine to help it learn how to support the product. That initial first step, oh, I forgot to flip a switch, versus sitting on a queue with support to find out I forgot to flip a switch. And look, nobody really reads manuals nowadays. Tim, I don't even think people have printers. I know we don't.
Technically, I have a printer at least once a week.
Tim still has paper.
So Willie, when you look at this, right, and we can poke fun at manufacturers all day long, and reading the freaking manual. But I want you to take a look at, you can comment on the manufacturer part and the manual part in a second. How does this change the role of integrators and their customers?
Here's my take on it. First and foremost, I fell in love with the product upon seeing it. Absolutely glorious, genius. I would imagine the concept behind it was driven as a measure to stop the men and women in AV from fighting with the men and women in IT. This tool is amazing, if for no other reason that it allows, in my opinion, it allows the integrator, the designer, to have conversations, real world conversations with the customer about the end goal of their desire, right? What they're looking to achieve by implementing said system. So no longer does the integrator have to spend so much time training that end user, that customer, on the granular operations behind said devices. As I think back to our network of gear spread across campus with my previous employer, one of the challenges that we face, which is not uncommon with a lot of support units, right? The phone rings, you're on the line, the faculty member wants to know, why is there no picture on the TV? Why is there no image coming from the data projector? I've pushed that buttons and it's not working, but you didn't select the right input based on the source that you were looking to send it.
Or you didn't plug it in.
Or you didn't plug it in, you know? So for this tool to be so intuitive, to interpret so much data, I mean, really, when you look at the operational aspect of whatever tool's been implemented in those environments, whatever software is running it, whatever firmware needs to be updated, the fact that it can, in real time, within milliseconds, surf through, understand the pathway, the wiring pathway, right? That signal propagation pathway, and find a solution and implements a solution, even if it has to do a quick reboot, right? The only aspect that I didn't see mentioned in the article was whether or not the end user gets any direct communication from said system. You know, in other words, does Lena say, you know, please wait a moment while I reboot? Please wait a moment while I select input 4. Whatever that level of communication may be while you're waiting for the problem to go away and your content to be right there. Yeah. In my current capacity in consulting and volunteering, I'm typically on a Zoom call once or twice a week. And there are times I'm amazed. The latest group I was on with is actually a ham radio group. And, nice. And I can tell you, reading the manual is very, very important. We'll flip that around. Not that the manufacturer matters. Because if you don't, then you're on the phone with tech support and you're eating these things. So people, read your manuals. It's very important that you understand what you're working with. But at the end of the day, I kind of lost my train of thought other than to say, I love this product. I love this product. I would love to have it in my home.
Well, we keep picking on the manuals, but the reality is we're taking all these disparate companies that aren't the same at all and putting them all together. So reading the manual company 1 versus company 2, a lot of times it's like who's on first. Yeah. And if you're able to start to utilize other technology to help you guide down the path of it, because it's usually not pointed at one thing. There's 2 or 3 things that you may need to address, or those problems that we can never replicate, right? But then they happen during the biggest board meeting you could ever imagine, and here comes that problem again. Yep. So to me, this is a tool. Again, I mentioned Copilot. It's one of those things that will help alleviate some of those issues. Read the manuals, don't read the manuals. If you buy Immersive, please read the manuals. But it will help, I think, with some of that intercommunication of the products as well. They all talk anymore. So this is where a lot of our issues are coming from.
All right. That will actually be a good place to stop. Thank you both so much. Willie Franklin, thank you, sir. How do people connect with you?
You can reach out to me on LinkedIn, Willie Franklin. And of course, you can definitely reach me via email at franklindjservices@gmail.com.
All right, very good. Mr. Joel Carroll, thank you, sir. How do people connect with you?
Absolutely. Easiest way is jcarroll@immersive.com or LinkedIn. The Joel Carroll is the tag there.
All right, very good. For me, for Tim Albright, don't follow me anywhere at all, although the Bears are still winning, so knock yourself out there. But I will say this. If you want to see stuff that I write that has nothing to do with AV or very little to do with AV, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. I will warn you, the last thing I did write about on LinkedIn did have something to do with AV. And holy cow, I did not expect that to blow up like it did. Got a number of interesting feedback. I wrote about AV over IP and the need for a standard and the fact that we don't have one, but that's a whole other issue. But yeah, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. But go by the website if you would, please, avnation.tv. That's avnation.tv. You will find this program and a host of others, including a brand new EdTech, where Aaron Mayer Moran talks about RFP process, and Cisco finally finding interoperability religion. So yeah, check that out. If you are watching us on YouTube and you're tired of looking at me, you can go listen to our podcast. And if you're listening to us and want to look and see what kind of purple shirt Joel Carroll has on, you can go check us out on YouTube. Either way, go the opposite direction, but go by the website if you would, please, avnation.tv. That is avnation.tv. Thanks so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. That is all the time we have for AV Week.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
Hello, this is Steve Greenblatt, host of AVNation's A State of Control podcast. Each month, Rich Fregosa and I explore trending topics related to control, programming, and automation in the audiovisual industry. We speak with a variety of AV professionals who share their perspectives, knowledge, and experiences. Please join us for this monthly conversation. Check out A State of Control on avnation.tv or wherever you get your podcasts.